How's it, guys? This is Davey, FPL, and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. This live stream is going to revolve around the upcoming Game Week 5, which is happening in an hour's time, or should I say about 55 minutes. Apologize for being slightly later than usual, but I was wrapping some things up on the work front. A little bit of an earlier deadline. I'm not really used to these midweek deadlines, so I'm pretty sure you guys will give me that. But as always, just tell me if the audio and the video is looking Gucci, and then we can get ahead to all your guys' questions, which will probably be about one man and one man only, Reece James. So yes, unfortunately, we have had the news of Reece James potentially missing out. Not really potentially. It's been kind of confirmed by many sources. It was a little bit sketchy at the start of today. However, that news kind of progressed. The rumors kind of progressed. And we have had some reliable sources telling us that he is going to miss tonight due to illness. It's not an injury. It's going to be illness. I don't know if it's the flu or what. I'm just hoping it's not the C word, because that might mean he's out for a prolonged amount of time. But if it is the flu as well, he could actually be out for the weekend as well. But unfortunately, no news on that front, so we're just going to have to take it as it comes. So everything looking Gucci, thank you. I should have probably checked chat a little bit before I went on a tangent. But yes, that's basically what today's stream is going to be about. One man only. And as I said, it's going to be Reece James. So yes, if you do have him, if you're playing him, I would probably put him on the bench. You can always just play him and just hope that he makes a miraculous recovery. I don't know what, maybe Tuchel injects him with some super drug and suddenly he's going to be fit for Game Week 5. But as far as I know, he didn't travel with the squad, so presumably he's not even going to play. So you can always play him, but I would probably put him on the bench, and just so that you can see your actual starting 11. And that's where I think the biggest talking point kind of comes about, is that it's actually the starting 11 that you guys have to focus on. I've seen a lot of people wanted to take Reece James out. Understandable, because he is quite expensive, but just look at your bench. Is there a bench option that could come off your bench and actually field for them, such as an Andreas Pereira, that sort of thing? If you look at my team, the Fulham midfielder is going to come off my bench for him. That's a perfect and adequate replacement for me. As long as Reece James is not going to be out for a prolonged amount of time, just a simple bench option this week with a decent fixture, a home fixture against Brighton is fine enough for me. You can simply just play that option. But where you can kind of see my own team and where things get slightly more hairy is that if we have some potential rotation further than Reece James. So let's just say Kyle Walker misses, Cancelo misses, one of these options. Cucurella could even miss the fixture, Martelli, that sort of thing. Then I don't have another bench coverage. So that's why that one free transfer might actually be used tonight if we do get news about Cucurella. But currently, I'm going to stick with what I have. This is going to be the exact same team selection that you guys saw in my video, I think yesterday that I released it. There might be one or two changes depending on kind of the leaked news. If Cucurella, for example, we get news that he's going to be benched, then I will be taking out Reece James, but we just kind of don't know who for who. But yeah, so you guys can drop any questions you like. What I actually will do is I will put a poll up for my own team. What I'll say is, I will say, would you take Reece James out or not? And if you do, I'm going to select some options that you guys can kind of select. So you guys can put through your recommendations in the chat down below. Who would you replace kind of Reece James with? I think the number one option is probably going to be Dunk. I could go for Perisic, but I'm kind of put off Perisic right now just because I think he will be benched for one of the next two, and that's not good enough for me. I want an option that's kind of nailed for the next two, with this kind of concern about the Reece James and overall my other starting 11 players. So currently, this is a player that I'm going to have to pronounce right. Estupinan. Just please just say if I'm pronouncing that right if you do speak the language. You can say stupid nan, as FPL Mate said, but Estupinan might sound better. I can also increase the accent if you want to get more of a nice pronunciation, but he currently is on my radar as a 4.5 Brighton defender. And the nice thing, as you guys know, I love a wing back, I love a full back. That's exactly what Estupinan does play. I'm just a little bit worried about some potential rotation there. Who kind of knows if he's going to be nailed for the foreseeable future? And that's why I might go slightly more nailed for someone like a Lewis Dunk, even though he rose in price last night. So otherwise, a lot of people joining in chat quite early. I do apologize if I missed your kind of hello, your how's it. Conrad, for example, saying hello, thumbs up. So thumbs up this stream if you guys are enjoying it. I know I've only been live for about 5 minutes, but it should be an enjoyable stream as I answer all your guys' questions. But first of all, we got a new member for 7 months, Siddharth, saying, let's go, Davey. Thank you for the continued support, Siddharth. Hopefully it's a cracking game week for you. And not even a member, a legend for 7 months. So the top tier of membership. Thank you. I do appreciate that one, Siddharth. Been nice chatting to you over on the Discord, and hopefully we can extend that throughout the season. We then have Tarang saying, hi Davey, I have Duncan and Andreas. Now like you. Said James is dicey, what to do? So Tarang, this is what you guys have to do, and this is going to be kind of for all of you watching the stream. What I'm going to tell you is going to be valuable for your own team is currently look at your starting 11. Do you have Reece James in your starting 11? What I would do is take Reece James out, put whoever's on your first bench in your starting 11, and then reflect on that team. I wouldn't take a -4 hit this week if you have someone like an Andreas Pereira on your bench that you can simply just play instead of Reece James. I wouldn't go kind of hit crazy. In these more midweek fixtures, there might be some more severe rotation, and therefore -4, in my opinion, might not actually be worth it. And the fixtures overall are looking a little bit dicey. Yes, Brighton do have Fulham away, but Fulham have been quite a strong attacking side, so who kind of knows what's going to happen there? So that might lead you to maybe not want to take a -4 for Dunk. That's my current thinking. Unless there's going to be rotation for other options in my starting 11, I'm fine with starting Andreas Pereira. But between Kyle Walker and Cucurella, I'm slightly worried. A little bit less on Cucurella, to be honest, just because I think that with Reece James out, they're still going to play him because they want more flexibility in those wing backs. Vincent saying, you were wrong, Davey. Estupinan is pronounced as Estupinan. So I do appreciate the comment there, Vincent. That was pretty good. Philip saying, thoughts on Eze really passes the eye test. Now, I really like Eze. Certified baller, in my opinion. I just do worry about some of the kind of FPL returns on his front. I do like him as a footballer, but he might be one of those options like a Gucci San Maximum where they have this great kind of skill and this great attacking threat, but sometimes it doesn't always equal FPL points. Saying that though, I mean, Gucci did score a banger on the weekend. Big choices on the captaincy. So yes, we can actually talk about captaincy now. In terms of Salah versus Haaland, for me, it is so close between these two. It's honestly, I think it's going to be kind of a 51-49 split between these two options. I think if both of them play the exact same minutes, I obviously would go with Haaland. I do think Haaland plays, which is quite weird for me because I'm saying if they play the same amount of minutes, but then I'm saying that I predict Haaland to start, then I would actually go for Erling Haaland. I mean, it's just simple. He plays Nottingham Forest, have one of the worst defenses in the Premier at the moment. Newcastle, while they might have some injuries, still a decent team, but I guess Liverpool are a pretty attacking side. I guess it's more kind of the nailed ability. I don't even know if that's a word nowadays, but Salah, he's kind of nailed to start and play, whereas Haaland isn't. But I do feel, as I said, if they play the exact same amount of minutes, then Haaland's the better asset. So it's a little bit tough to kind of go by, and we're going to see what kind of goes. But currently I'm on Salah, and probably the only thing that's edging it for that 1% is I hate watching Liverpool play and just hoping that Salah blanks. So that's my current thinking on it. I think either two assets are going to be quite strong. It's going to be quite funny at the end of the game week if both of them score the same amount of points after everyone's kind of stressing between this 50-50. But yes, currently on Salah, but I do think Haaland might be the safer option because I think more people are actually going to captain him. So Salah might be a differential. Maybe that's what's leaning me towards him. Danny Man saying Walker might be benched as well, 100%, and that's why I'm a little bit worried about that, but I might just bite the bullet. If he starts, he starts, and otherwise I might have someone off my bench for 0 points. But at this stage, Walker's been getting 1 point anyways, so what's 0 points versus 1 point at the end of the day? Manuel saying if I already have Dunk and not Cucurella. Cucurella could be an interesting one, but I might wait and see if we do get some more early team news. Because if we do, then I mean 100%. But the Chelsea fixtures aren't as strong. So what I might look then is maybe a Brentford defender, that sort of thing. He could be an alternative in terms of Cucurella or maybe even a Lewis Dunk. But you say you've already owned Dunk, so yeah. Thoughts on Zinchenko and Ward out for Saliba and Sanchez have 2 free transfers. I like those moves, especially for the kind of fixture proofing. You're giving your team a nice prolonged look, not necessarily long term, but kind of medium term. Those 2 options are great. And as far as I know, Zinchenko is considered a doubt, not 100% out, but a doubt for this weekend. I mean, for I think they play tomorrow, so Wednesday. So it's tough between those 2. Emmanuel saying Salah or Haaland, who's the better captaincy pick? Well, right now I'm on Salah, so that's generally what I would say, but I do think either of them are great shouts, and this might even be one of those lucky wheel or random wheel scenarios. Would you play Patterson and keep James or swap James for Saliba? I might just keep Patterson at this. I might just play Patterson at this stage. I'm not too afraid of keeping James. I'm actually fine with that. But if he is going to be out for a prolonged amount of time, like for example, we get more news here and they say he's going to be out for the weekend, then obviously we'll take him out because that's not sustainable in my own team. But if he's going to miss 1 game week, then 100%. Downgrade Robertson to who? I wouldn't downgrade Robertson unless you have a plan to get Diaz in. If it's a simple like-for-like defender, I would just keep Robertson this week. I still have Neto, 2.2 in the bank. Give me some options. Just keep Neto. Aren't they playing Bournemouth this week? That could be a great option to kind of go and a little bit of a differential, to be honest. I mean, not many people own Neto currently, so he could actually just be a keep in terms of that. What would you do with Walker? Have 2 free transfers this week. I just keep Walker. I can't bring myself to take out a Man City defender unless I was going for a Man City attacker this week against Nottingham Forest. If they play and they get 60 minutes, I think it's a locked-in clean sheet. So that's why I'm not really planning on that. Are you still planning to bring in Periscope before Cucurella? So I know that probably auto-corrected from Perisic, but currently no. I'm kind of out of that. I'm going for, I think the Spurs assets are too kind of hard to look at. There might be some rotation with them, who kind of knows, but that's my current thinking. So Dart's saying, haircut need a Davey, 100%. I just haven't had time to go for a haircut recently, but I do need one. I probably will go this weekend. Unkid saying, please keep liking the stream, guys, so you can. Unkid said it, not myself, but you can if you are enjoying it. Gideon saying, hi Davey, should I captain KDB, Haaland, or differential like Rodrigo? So if you have KDB and Haaland, and you don't have Salah, or if those are your 3 options, I'll definitely go KDB or Haaland. I might actually say go for KDB this week. I think he's more nailed to start than Haaland will. But if both of them do play, I still prefer Haaland, but it's a tough one. I would say go KDB this week, but between those 2, I would just go between them. I would go Haaland or KDB. I wouldn't go Rodrigo. Will ASM play? So will St. Maximum play this week? As far as I know, he's a doubt. I think Trippier will play, but St. Maximum won't. Or at least he might be. I wouldn't risk it with Gucci, to be honest. Like if I'm the Newcastle manager, I might just keep St. Maxim where he is. He's playing well. Don't want him to get injured. And I think the last time they played Liverpool, he did actually get injured in the fixture. So I'd be a little bit concerned there. But as far as I know, he's a doubt. Who's the guaranteed City attacker? So this week I would say Gundo. He's my favorite kind of option from Man City. If you guys watch Nathan Bacon FC's video, I chose Gundo as my asset. But I also chose Reece James, so look what happened there. Is the Reece James news true? It is true. So he's going to be out for today's fixture. However, we don't know the severity of the illness or the injury, and he might actually be back for the weekend. Who do you think scores more this week? Robbo/Rodrigo or Cucurella/Diaz? I'd probably say Robbo and Rodrigo, Harry. It's a close one, though. I'll actually favour Southampton, so it might be a good thing that we're not losing a double clean sheet this week. De Silva to Gross or De Silva plus Robertson to Saliba plus Diaz from -4. I prefer the De Silva to Gross move, to be honest. Well, when will you be using the wild card? So currently, Pudar, in my mind, I have 2 situations. The first one is probably Game Week 8 or Game Week 9, or it's going to be later than that, and then I simply take out those Liverpool assets before the tough run, and then I bring them back in on the wild card. So that's what I'm going to be going for. Time for an Andreas Hattie. I would be ecstatic if that happens. Salah t-shirt, please. So G-Bar might have a surprise for you later on. Dalot or Andreas as a sub if I bench James. I would play Andreas. Who do United play, actually? Let me check here, sorry. Oh, they play Monday against Leicester. I don't generally like teams playing against Leicester. I just feel like they can't defend, so they have to attack. So I think I would still go with Andreas. Put James on your bench. Yeah, let's actually do that so people don't get confused. We will swap Andreas with James and then save the team. Okay, sorry. You guys will probably see me dodging the mic, but it's like right in front of my screen at the current moment. So yeah, sorry for that. But yeah, so currently that's going to be the team selection. And if we do get a whisper of news or I get some cold feet on Walker, then we might bring Dunk in for James and play him over Pereira. If you stand up and you're wearing Salah boxes, I'll forgive you. Might not have to go to that extent. Kane to Haaland ? This is a tough one to go by. I think it's a situation where you just stick with whoever you have. It's tough though, because I think that if Haaland plays this week, he could bang. But I think the same could be said about Spurs. They're playing quite well at the moment. I'd stick with Haaland or stick with Kane. Why not Haaland captain? I don't know. I just have a feeling that maybe Haaland gets reduced minutes, that sort of thing. And I also hate watching Liverpool play when Salah is not my captain. But between those two, I think the safe option, to be honest, is Haaland. It seems like there's a thinking in the FPL community that Salah's the safe option. I do agree if you're talking about kind of minutes, but I do feel like he's more differential than Haaland this week because I think we might get a shock at how many people go for Haaland. That's just my thinking. But saying that though, I'm super 50-50 on this call. Like I could always switch it out. I don't know. Maybe if we get some early team news about Man City, but I don't think we will. Thanks for replying. Losing patience with Walker lately. Is transferring out Ramsdale to Sanchez a good move? Ramsdale to Sanchez is fine if you kind of want to burn a transfer. Burn inverted commas. What I'm saying there is if you have 2 free transfers and you want to use one, you can't use it anywhere else, I'm fine with that move, but unless you're doing that, I probably won't do that. I think the Arsenal fixture this week is fine. Are you rolling a transfer? Yes, if I stick with this team selection, I will roll a transfer for next week. I'm almost regretting doing the Bailey move last week, because what I would have done this week is James out, Bailey out, probably would have brought Gross and Dunk both in, but maybe that's chasing too many points. I have both Robbo and Walker who are risks. Should I risk having no bench? So I don't think Robbo's a risk this week, but obviously I could be wrong there. This is no guaranteed news, but I think that Robbo will play. On Kyle Walker, I can agree with you. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. When are you getting the chocolate milk sponsorship? Got to keep the goat fit. So currently the goat is drinking Coke. So maybe we can get a Coca-Cola subscription, but or membership or sponsorship, sorry. But yeah, currently I haven't had a chocolate milk in quite a while. Any electricity outages? So currently no. We've actually been quite lucky. No load shedding recently. Do you think Rico Henry out is an obvious transfer? I don't think it's an obvious transfer. I think Brentford have some nice fixtures coming up. Yes, they have dipped from a defensive point of view, but they still look quite fine and the fixtures are great. Do you think Patterson is good enough for cover for Walker? I think he's fine, but I don't think it's as good as Andreas Pereira. Let's just put it that way. I'm not confident in Everton this week, and obviously I think they're playing Leeds at home or Leeds away, and that's a tough fixture, to be honest. Thoughts on captaining Cancelo? Maybe if he was more attacking, but this season he's been all over the place. Ben is saying, thoughts on Estupinan, hopefully I'm pronounced that right again, at Brighton. Attacking left back, I like him, but I just worry that there's going to be some rotation coming up. That's my only concern about him. Might be a little rough keeping James this week, but next week we'll have 2 free transfers and James. So Harry, the only reason why I will keep James is that if I do think he plays next week. Obviously though, if he's out, we can always transfer him out, but I just feel like we need some surety almost that he's going to be fine. And I hope we might get that, I don't know from where, early team news, maybe Tuchel talks to the press earlier, I don't know. But I do hope that he's fine. If you have Instagram, check Reece James's Instagram stories. Maybe he tells us something like, be back soon, be back for the weekend or something like that. Please check that, to be honest. G-Red, Reece James is confirmed out for this week. Who's the better captain between KDB and Kane? I'd go KDB, John Doe. Final team, as of now, but I'm not guaranteeing anything, because if Cucurella, we get news that he's benched, then I might ship James out for a little bit of cover from Lewis Dunk. Could always switch Salah to Haaland, but I don't know about that. View on replacing Martinelli for Diaz, says Harry. The thing about Diaz is that we're kind of getting to the end of this little stint of guaranteedness. Why I'm saying that is Jota's returning to training on Thursday this week. We then have Darwin Núñez returning on Saturday or Sunday whenever Liverpool play against Everton. So there might be a little bit of rotation there potentially with the Champions League coming up. So I might just hold Martinelli. It's a tough one though, because I do favor Diaz, but I don't know if this week's the right week to do it. As Martinelli's been pretty consistent, and it's quite a significant upgrade at the end of the day. But if you have enough money in the bank and that's the only transfer you want to do, then it's fine by me. You could also do that. Is bringing Haaland in worth it now? Have Salah and Kane. Pep's mind games. So if you're taking out Kane for Haaland, no. If you want to bring in Haaland additionally to Salah and Kane, then that's fine. But I would just stick with whoever you have. This rotation upcoming might be a bit rough. Because just remember, if Haaland plays this week, he's probably going to be benched on the weekend. I think he's benched one of the two. That's my opinion. Do you feel that Salah will be rotated for the UCL fixture? I don't feel like he'll be rotated this week. I feel like he might get like 70 minutes managed for the weekend. But I think he won't be. I just think that Salah's fit at the end of the day. He doesn't have to be rotated every kind of midweek. But there might be some concern in the upcoming games. But I wouldn't say 90 minutes. I'd say 70 probably. Adlusi saying, hi Davey, what would you do? I have 2 free transfers, 0.8 in the bank. If you've got 2 free transfers, then I'd take James out for Dunk this week. Yeah, that's what I would do. Gideon saying, would you switch Tony for Darwin Núñez in game week 6? Maybe. Let's just see how Tony does over the next couple. Will you transfer out James? Bench looks not good and you already got Andreas in. Yeah, I've got Andreas in. That's my only concern about it, is that if Walker or Cucurella gets rotated. But I think right now I'm fine with the team. I'm almost like fine with banking, and I'm just going to have to bite the bullet then. If Walker gets rotated, so be it. And if Cucurella gets rotated, so be it. But hopefully we get news about the Chelsea lineup a little bit later on. James to Cucurella. If I was going to burn the transfer without it, I have Dunk already. Yeah, that's fine to do. But as I said, maybe we might get early team news about Chelsea's lineup, but who kind of knows? Rashford or Tony? Tony, go for Tony. Kane versus Salah versus Haaland. For me, it's Salah or Haaland. I wouldn't go Kane. How's it, Gorillo? Thoughts on Mahrez? Too much of a rotation risk for me. I'd probably leave that. My gut feeling is saying that Gucci will do his thing again, like against Trent, like he did against Walker. What do you think? Maybe. That could also happen, but I mean, Gucci at the current moment are a doubt, so I don't even know if he's going to play. Well, hey bro, I brought in De Silva for Bailey as I wanted to avoid the price drop. Bit of a whack move, I know. Should I start De Silva over James? Yeah, well, you might as well now because James isn't going to play. So he's either going to come off for your bench or you're going to put him in your starting 11, basically. Since James is ill, on opinions on De Silva to Gross and James to Neco Williams from -4. Next week, I just play De Silva, maybe. Next week, I can afford Perisic back up to James. So, Josh, if you have that move in mind, if you really want to bring James in, then okay. But it just, I don't know. Are you starting Neco Williams? Probably not this week. You probably bench him against Man City. So, it just depends if you think if Gross scores more than 4 points than De Silva. That's what it comes down to. And then the risk of not owning James next week if you priced out or something like that. I would probably say that Gross has a good chance. So I think it might be worth a -4. But if you're conservative, you don't do that move. That's what I will say, Josh. Haaland definitely starts. Yeah, I kind of think so as well. Aditya with the super chat saying 4 million non-playing defender plus Rodrigo or Estupinan plus Gross. I would say Estupinan plus Gross probably. That's what I would say. Could you go Dunk over Estupinan? De Silva or Andreas? Bench Cook or Saliba? That's a tough one. I'd probably say Cucurella, but I'll try and play both of them. Would you sell Trippier to Dunk this week? No, I would try and keep Trippier. That's kind of what I was thinking about with Dunk, is that next week I could almost go for Trippier instead of Dunk if I do favor those Newcastle fixtures. It just gives me a little bit more of a flexibility, but this week then, every one of my starting 11 has to feature. No chocolate milk again, unfortunately not. I haven't been able to go to the shops to get any. Dunk or Perisic? I think this week you go safe and you go Dunk. I just feel like Perisic gets benched either tomorrow or... Is it tomorrow? Yeah, they're supposed to play tomorrow. Either tomorrow or on Sunday, Saturday, wherever they play Fulham. So I think you go Dunk and he's going to play both games. So I feel that's more of a sensible move. Why aren't you captaining Haaland? I just feel like, I don't know, there's just something holding me back on Haaland. I think it's probably the minutes, but I feel like he's a safe option to go for. I think he'll be captained by more people than Salah this week, so that's why I consider him the safe option. But Salah is safer in terms of minutes, but who kind of knows? Keep or sell Kulusevski? Zaid, who do you want to sell for? I would probably keep, but I know it's a tough situation to be in. But I think Kulusevski's played fine. Spurs look good, but if you want to transfer him out for like a Gundogan, that could be an exciting move. Hus, when are you planning to use the wildcard? So 2 situations. The first one, game week 8/9. The second one is game week 12 or game week 11, game week 13. Because that's when Liverpool's fixtures turn. Liverpool's fixtures turn around game week 10, I think, or 9 to 11. So what I could do is I could take out the Liverpool assets and then I could bring them back in on a wildcard, which I might do. Is Robbo a hold? He's a hold for me, Elliot, unless you want to do like a switch around of your Liverpool assets. If you want to go for a Darwin, then maybe, but for me, he should be fine. But just remember that Robbo is a potential benching in the next 2 games. I think actually next week he'll be benched, or next game week he'll be benched against Everton. I think he will play against Newcastle. But I think he will get benched out of the next. Next 2 transfer plan. Currently I can't really say anything because the team looks fine, but I mean, we got hit with a hammer this week with Reece James out. Madison will play. I think as far as I saw in the news today, they said that he did train, so he should be fine. Best replacement for Neto, Gross or Rodrigo? I like Rodrigo more than Gross, but both of them should be fine. I think there is a slight concern about Rodrigo potentially with all the options coming back from injury. That's what I will say, with like a Bamford coming back to Leeds. But I still think he should be fine for the short term. I have 2 free transfers. My team looks exactly the same like yours, except for Bailey instead of Diallo. So what I would do then is I would take out James for Dunk and Bailey for Gross, or Bailey for Rodrigo, depending on how much money you have. Dunk and Andres both in the starting 11. Both will offset each other, says Tarang. But you're playing the odds day. So if Fulham score, you hope that Andres is involved. And if Dunk gets a clean sheet, obviously, then you get the points as well. So you're playing the odds day. That's fine. Will Haaland start on the bench? Luca, I can't tell you that, brother. But I will say that I do. My hunch is that he's going to play. But I don't know. C. Haynes is saying, hey everyone, let's show our appreciation by smashing the like button. You can always if you want to. James to Neco Williams and Reed to Rodrigo, or Ramsdale to Sanchez and James to Saliba. Ramsdale to Sanchez doesn't seem proactive to me, as Ramsdale still has fine fixtures. If you're gonna bench if you're gonna have to play Neco or Reed, I would do the Rodrigo move and the Neco Williams move. What happened to James? So apparently he missed training yesterday and maybe the day before because he was ill and he didn't travel with the team today. So that's a bit rough. First sub, Ben Mee or Bailey? I'd probably put Ben Mee there. I don't really trust Bailey anymore and they have some tough fixtures. Haaland's EO is probably going to be 100%. So you're not captaining him. It's probably going to be best that he's rotated. Yeah, so it's the same with Salah. So if you're captaining Haaland, you hope Salah blanks. And if you're captaining Salah, you hope Haaland blanks. It's going to be the same with Jesus probably, except Jesus might be slightly over 100%. It's at that annoying stage of FPL again because of the template. Whoever you don't captain, you hope blanks. Should I take a -4 and remove Diallo and Diaz for Rodrigo and Gross? I wouldn't. Do you have to play Diallo? Because otherwise I would just keep what you have. And that's what I was saying about the starting 11. Don't take hits for players that you're going to bench anyways. I have a free transfer. Who would you ship, James out or bank? So, well, if your team looks fine, if you got Andres Pereira, no other rotation concerns, then I would just bank it. Will Pep start Gomez? I can't afford that. So same. I can't afford that Walker gets benched. He could always play, but who kind of knows? I'm relying on Pep Roleche to not like something me over too much, and I hope that Walker does start. But maybe Haaland gets benched if I don't captain him. If James is sick enough to miss a training and a match, I doubt he plays 90 on the weekend. So, Harry, that is true, but he might just recover. Maybe it was a precaution. They just gave him the time off because he wasn't going to play anyway. Perisic in the predicted lineup. Okay, so if you guys have Perisic, definitely play him. But it's not enough for me to kind of bring him in because then he gets benched on the weekend then. Would you still buy Dunk if you already own Sanchez? I'm trying to sell James so I can upgrade Bailey. That's fine for me. Brighton's defense is solid enough. Christian saying, good luck this game week. Thank you, Christian. Thanks for dropping by. Hopefully it's a banger of a game week. We can go check Twitter for you guys now. I don't think we'll get any early team news, but we might get some early, I don't know, selection stuff. Maybe some rumors. But I know that Twitter's a mess currently because everyone's kind of considering going for Reece James out. Okay, so the prediction of Paul O'Keefe, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, Emerson, Perisic, Basuma, Holberg, Kulusevski, Kane, Son. So that's the current predictions. If you guys have Perisic, play him because he's probably going to start. Paul is usually bang on, to be honest. And otherwise, in terms of other moves, I can't really see anything else. But yeah, that's the biggest one, is that Perisic is going to be potentially starting. Obviously, it's not 100%, but it is pretty true usually. Paul usually gets it bang on, to be honest. So yeah, if you guys have Perisic, I would definitely put him in your team. Let's just say that. I went Henry to Dunk. I have 2 free transfers this week. Also have Andreas and Bailey. Who should I use my second transfer? I went Henry to Dunk. And I have... If you have... I would just downgrade Bailey then. If you have money, then you can upgrade Bailey, Ronaldo, if you have to start him. But yeah, I don't know. James is ill, says SH. Is that a quote? Are you quoting someone from Twitter? But yeah, it seems like James is ill. Plan for today is probably just to bank the transfer unless we get news about maybe Cucurella being benched. What is your current transfer plan? So currently, if we get news of either Walker or Cucurella being benched, I will do James to Dunk and then start Dunk instead of Pereira. I thought Richarlison would start instead. I think he'll start the weekend instead. That would be my prediction. And then I think that same starting 11 will start in the Champions League. Kulusevski or Gundogan, who's the better option? I would go Gundo this week. It just seems like a punt worth it, in my opinion. I've got Neto and Robertson, both dropping in price tonight. Who do I bring in? So Josh, unfortunately, you're in a situation where both these two assets could still do well, and you might just have to suck up the price rise because Neto has Bournemouth, a plum fixture, and Robbo has Newcastle, and both of those look pretty strong. What you could do is you could always do the switch. So bring in Luis Diaz, and then I don't know what defender you can afford, but then you could always go for like a Dunk. So Josh, just maybe look at that move, but I don't know. Joseph saying, I can't stop flipping the armband between Salah and Haaland. Such a tough choice this week. It's a very tough choice this week. Very tough. Zaid saying, Reece James misses out tonight due to being ill. So that was the confirmed tweet. A very good insider tweeted that as well. I just worry about what that ill means. Is it going to mean that he misses the weekend, or does it mean he's going to be back tomorrow training? Who kind of knows? Save your two transfers. So currently I only have one free transfer, but I would save it. Haaland is in every team prediction, swaying towards captaining him, but Salah is dual haul to pain. Yeah, it's a tough one. That's why I said it's 50-50 in my opinion. So it's a bit rough. Tarang, what's your team value? I think 0.5 in the bank and 100.8 is terms of the squad depth. So yeah, kind of the same thing there. Let me just check 100% for you guys. But yeah, so 0.5 in the bank and my team is worth 100.8 million. What rank are you up to now? I think it's like 1.8 mil. Flip, I forgot to update my stream overlay again, so I do apologize for that one, guys. So you're going to have to just stick with my lovely rank history for now. I keep on forgetting to update it. Why isn't there double captain chip? Why isn't there double captain chip? So Harry, there is. You get one every week. Start Gross instead of James. Yes, 100%. Kumas, you definitely want to start Gross this week, I'd say. Who's the best between Haaland, Jesus, Cancelo, or Salah for captain? So for me, guys, there are two options this week. Okay, don't take that too seriously. But what I'm saying is, in my head, there's two options. But obviously, you can go and captain Rodrigo if you want to. If you think he's gonna bang, captain him. But there's two options in my mind. It's Haaland / KDB, and then Salah. Between those two, I would just stick with one of them. I think either of those two are going to do super well. It depends who's going to score more points. So I'm on Salah right now, but I think that Haaland could blow everyone out the water and score a double hattie. Nottingham Forest are that bad. Gregorian's Law saying 133rd in your league now, Davey. 100%. That's a great rank. What's your overall rank, Gregorian Law? That'll be quite interesting to see. Ty the Footy guy saying I've got no clue what transfers to do this week. Can you maybe do something with James? That's probably where most people are kind of looking. What about Jesus for captain? I just don't trust him, Dwayne, to be honest. That's why I prefer Salah and Haaland. James now in yellow in FPL. Let's refresh. Okay, so currently on my screen he's still not flagged. But what you guys will notice is that FPL is very slow, so I don't exactly know if they're going to take this rumor as fact, and we might only get that afterwards. Perisic to Kyle Walker, 2 free transfers. Saint, did you switch them around? Are you saying Walker to Perisic? But I would say Perisic keep. He's rumored to play. Any predicted lineups for Man City versus as well? Yeah, there are some predicted lineups. I checked today. There was one site that said Haaland benched, but most of them said Haaland to start. So yeah, flagged on the phone for me. Okay, let me check the phone. Maybe the app is better. Yeah, so currently he is actually flagged. 50%. That just shows you how FPL is updating now, because no ways would they have checked Twitter that recently. So yeah, that's quite hectic. James is orange on mine, yeah. So Nofu says, as we were saying, yeah, listed as orange, and he's 50% to play. So that is almost confirmed that he's going to be missing. But I'm pretty sure that the FPL headquarters is using the same sources that we use. Should I take out Emi Martinez for a -4? I never like to take -4 transfers, Lucas, but it depends who you bring in. I guess if you're confident, that should be fine. I'm on my computer and James is orange. Okay, let me refresh again. Okay, now he is orange. Okay, cool. So at least you guys know I'm on the latest version of FPL's website. Are you not considering Brighton defender Estupinan, says James. 100%. If I take James out, a Brighton defender will come in. But I just don't know about James. I might want to keep him for just this week. The only reason, as I mentioned, is that if I think that Walker will be rotated, or if I think Cucurella will be rotated, then I'll have to do the James out move. Please, good goalkeeper for 4.5. Is Raya still 4.5? I know that Sanchez is 4.6 potentially. So I would go with Raya, or you can always go for kind of... There are a few other selections, but I think most of them have risen in price now. Is your team locked, Davey? It's not locked, but I would say with about 15 minutes to go, it looks pretty fine, I would say. That's what I would say. Incoming influx of people saying they triple captain James. That'll be quite unfortunate, to be honest, but yeah, it might be. Did FPL tweet about James this week? They tweet, they're like, this is the best player to bring in, and then the player always gets injured. Why not Webster over Dunk? He's cheaper and looks more dangerous on set pieces. That could be an option to look at. I haven't really dived that deep into the selections for Brighton, but I think between Dunk and Webster, it's who kind of knows. Holy Butt, I have a sneaky suspicion that Walker will be benched. I kind of think so as well, but I just don't know. It's hard for me to use a trance on suspicion, if you get what I'm saying. But if he is benched, that's going to be a little bit rough. Saliba better than Dunk? I would say so if you don't have an Arsenal triple up, but I currently do. I did Ramsdale to Sanchez this morning, considering James to Estupinan, but worried about Brighton's double up against Mitrovic. Do you have bench options? Then I wouldn't do it, but if you don't, I don't think it's bad doubling up on Brighton, to be honest. What about Perisic to Estupinan? I would not do that at all. Apparently Spurs lineup has been predicted and Perisic is going to be in it. So I would do that. I was on course to burn a transfer this week, but with the news now, what are some good replacements? I would go for... You can go Cucurella, but I would maybe wait for some early team use. I don't think we're going to get it, to be honest, but we might. And then I would say otherwise the Brighton defenders. They look great. I would say Gunnar Dan that Cucurella is more nailed now that James is out. We might even see Cucurella switch to the right-hand side. But they might just play Aspi there. Zayd saying I have 2 free transfers. Should I take out Reece and Kula for defender? Like that could be quite a nice transfer, Zayd. It depends how maverick you are, but I would say potentially that looks quite great. Mr. Someone saying captain Kane or Salah. I'd go Salah. Have Andreas against Brighton. Okay, so you're playing. So I think you said that you have 2 Brighton defenders, and then you also have. But that's fine because you're playing the odds there. You're hoping that if Fulham score, Andreas Pereira is involved. James to Perisic or Brighton defender. Ty, for me, it's a Brighton defender. I just think that, yes, Perisic starts tomorrow, but it's a tough game against West Ham. And then we might see some potential rotation against Fulham on the weekend. Drawing Law saying rank about 90k. So that's a great rank to start off with. Hopefully that you can build on that in the upcoming weeks. Time to take the free it. Hopefully not. James to Cucurella for free. I like that move. Like, I'm fine with it. I don't think Chelsea's fixtures are that attractive, but I'm fine with the attacking jet of Cucurella. But what I would say is that just make sure that he's going to start. I do think he will, but there always might be some rotation. Play Jensen or Andreas. I'd play Jensen potentially there. It's an easier fixture, I think, on paper. Rashford as a differential. I don't know about United currently. I mean, they looked better against Southampton, but I still don't know about Rashford. But if you are a United fan or you want to make a differential, then you can go for it. Kylo's saying, I've made 2 free transfers. Neto to Gross, James to Dunk. Those moves look superb unless Neto bangs against Bournemouth. Play Cucurella or Walker. I would play Walker out of those 2. Upgrade Neto or bank the transfer. I'd bank this week. I'd almost take the price hit. I mean, it's almost like taking a Man City play against Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth are terrible and Wolves have looked slightly better going forward, so Neto might even get a return this week. James to Duncan save 1 free transfer, James to Neco Williams and Reed to Rodrigo. I don't have Sanchez in goal. So Marcus, it depends on who you currently have in your lineup. Do you think that for the -4, okay, no, you're saying you have 2 free transfers. Okay. those moves are fine, but I think the James to dunk move and save one free transfer could also be adequate. It's a tough situation because I can't really see like a massive gain. It's not an obvious move for me, and that's probably why you've asked me. But Marcus, I would maybe say look at projected points, and if you think that it's sided to one player or one selection, then I would go with that. But to me, it's 50-50. I would say if you think Rodrigo's going to do well, then 100%, but the James to dunk move also looks fine. I'd say I slightly lean towards the second options, the Rodrigo moves. But that's just me like having to split. Don't jinx it with Neto. I'm not going to jinx it, I promise. Don't worry. De Silva or Andreas in the first team. I prefer Andreas. I think De Silva's a bit more kind of defensive. Is James a minor injury? It's not even an injury. He's actually ill. Now, that is 100% like, we don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, he could be ill, like super ill, and miss 2 weeks or something, but he might also be back for the weekend. Sax Meister saying, sorry I'm late, Davey. Is Salah nailed as captain? He's not nailed, but I think at this stage I'm just going to roll with it. I like Haaland, but I just think that between those two it's so close, and that's why I'm going with Salah. What do you think about Jesus captain? Wilson, I personally, it's between Haaland or Salah for me. You can always go with Jesus if that's your gut feeling, but I think between those two is where I would stick. I just think that like those fixtures are too good and those players are too strong. Is KDB nailed? He should be nailed for game week 5. How long are James and Zinchenko out for? My initial prediction would be that I don't think for long. I think Zinchenko's was a doubt and now he's coming back. Still a doubt for midweek. And then James is ill, so who kind of knows? Tsimikas did press work for the Newcastle match. Does that mean he'll start? I wouldn't say I trust the press work. I think that's one way of looking at it, but I don't think it's guaranteed. Can I go with Estupinan? Yeah, 100% you can. Just be prepared that there might be some rotation, Ahmed. But, I mean, if I have to pick a Brighton and all of them were nailed, I would pick him because of that attacking threat. I can't do Kula to Gundo because I have 3 City already. Is there any other good options? I would just keep Kula then. I don't think there's any other options I would potentially look at. It's the same thing with me, though, with KDB. If you guys watch my transfer plan, I was all kind of gassed on getting KDB in for Salah, but then I saw that I had 3. Bruno going to tweet as James today, Adam. Yeah, probably. Would you start Andreas or De Silva Andreas? Dr. Joel with the super chat saying, howdy, did Mendy to Sanchez have one free transfer? 1 week punt on Perisic for James, 0.5 in the bank, could also do transfer to Saliba. I'd say I'd go Saliba, to be honest. Perisic, 100% if it's a 1 week punt, then next week you want to do something with it, but I think right now, I don't know if I'd do that. That's what I would say. I guess we could take a 1 week punt on Perisic if we want to go for it. That could also be a move that we do, but I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. Because then I guess it's locking in a transfer next week. So would you do James to Perisic for a 1 week punt? But I don't want to do a 1 week punt, I guess, because I've just spoken about going for someone like a Dunk or going for someone like an Estupinan because they're more nailed. Will Trippier play? Apparently he's more certain to play than St. Maximum, so I think he should be fine. Zinchenko playing tomorrow night. Thoughts? I don't think he's going to play. Apparently he's still a doubt. Michael saying, if you had Kulu, do you replace him for Gundo? Michael, that's a tempting move, but it depends on how maverick you are as a manager. If you are maverick, then I'd say maybe, but if you're not, then I don't know. I think you just keep Kulu then. KDB or Haaland captain? KDB is definitely more differential, but if you think that Haaland starts, I would still probably go with him, but I think that both those two assets are very strong. Haaland captain, because if he's benched, Vice equals Salah. I think if Haaland's benched, he comes off though. That's my only thing. Oscar saying, Dave, you didn't reply to my email. Sorry, Oscar, I haven't checked my emails, but I will check them. But that's an interesting approach if it's an FPL question, so I will go check it out. FPL Borat saying my name. I want great FPL success. Should I captain my friend Mr. Jesus? I would stick between Haaland and Salah, but Jesus could always bang. I just feel like between Haaland and Salah, it's a bit more sensible. James to Cucurella or bench James and start Andreas. So currently you can see on my screen that that's what I'm doing. I'd say if you have another bench option, I would do that. For me, it's a bit stickier because Walker or Cucurella could always be benched. Thoughts on Gross? I like him as an option. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go check Twitter quickly just to see if we get any more team news, potentially. So yeah, I don't see that we have any sort of news apparently. Yeah, so it's no news apparently. It's just some people saying about certain things. Nothing as of now. Yeah, so no early team news. The only thing that kind of came about was that Perisic move. Yeah, so nothing as of now. What I might do though is I might just play James though instead of Perisic, just in case there's like, I don't know, some miracle. So that's what I'll probably run with this lineup, and then I mean James is probably not going to start anyway, so it is what it is. Last number says start Perisic or Cucurella. I'll start Perisic for me. I think he has the highest ceiling. Is this your final team? Yeah, so this is going to be my final team because, as you guys, I don't know if you can see. Let me just check if you guys can see. But we have the return of the Mo Salah shirt. So let's hope that Salah bangs a Hattie tomorrow and Haaland blanks or something like that. Or just the fact that Salah outranks him. So yeah, we're going to be going for the Salah captain. That's I think what I'm going to be doing. And we're going to be starting James just for some miracle. Dunk is a guaranteed start. Joe, he is a guaranteed start. So I just want to update the Discord and also the Bailey to Rodrigo for a hit. If you have to start Bailey, then yes, I would do that. It depends on who you have to kind of start. If it's going to be, if you're gonna have to play like a Neco Williams this week, I would take the hit. But if you don't, then I think you have to be cautious about those -4s. Thanks Shane, thanks for the hit. Let's hope that Salah gets some points because otherwise we're gonna have to rid the shirt. But yeah, currently I am confident. The shirt's been good to us in the past, guys. So that's all I'll say. Not story. Sorry guys, I just have to update this. Okay, cool. I say for the last kind of 6 minutes or so, we can do a quick fire round. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to cover, just kind of pump the content because I'll kind of speed run them in the next few. Cucurella vs Perisic as a transfer in for James. I slightly prefer Cucurella just because I think he's more nailed. With Perisic, I would like to kind of bring him in this week, but then it's a 1 week punt. I don't know if that's clever. Didn't get the James in the starting 11. I'm just doing it for some miracle. If he plays, that sort of thing. Who do I captain, Salah or Diaz? Jason, I'd go with Salah. FPL site has James out of a knock, not illness. So I think that's what it currently is, but I mean, you can always take him out next week if there is something like that. Why are you starting James? I'm just starting him in case by some miracle he's going to play, but he probably won't. So it's just something that I kind of thought about now. Walker to Cucurella, I wouldn't do that move either way. James to Cucurella or James to Brighton defender and Bailey to Rodrigo. I would say I like Cucurella, Ty. I think he's going to play tonight, but I think equally the Brighton defense is also just as strong. So yeah. Neto Hall, let's go, says the Bashu. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the team here, guys, so that you see that it is locked in. Because I know always some people have some concerns. So I'm gonna just refresh there for you guys. You can see that this is locked in. For fun on a wild card, last number, I'd say it's a fine pick, but I wouldn't have him as kind of a big at the back 5 player. I'd have him as a bench rotation option. Can't wait for James to start tonight, Harry. If he does, I mean, it'll be a miracle, but I don't think he will. Unless he traveled by taxi or something to Southampton. He should be out. And then we'll just get Andres Pereira off the bench anyway. Time to spin the wheel for this week, Captain. Less than 10 minutes remaining. I'm going to stick with Salah this week. I wore this shirt, so I'm going to hope that it brings us good luck. And Salah outperforms Haaland this week. Henry to Webster. I would stick with whoever you have there. Gabriel instead of James. Yeah, so if you guys don't have an Arsenal defender, that would be my highest priority to bring in. I already have an Arsenal triple up, so I can't go for another Arsenal defender. Let's go. Salah captain's getting points. All hail Salah's shirt, hopefully. Final team, yeah, Mad Rez is the final team. Thoughts on Guedes? I do like him. Salah's shirt, triple captain activated. So keep the triple captain for when there's a double game week, and then we wear the shirt again. What's for dinner tonight? I have no idea. I'm actually playing footy after this, so I'm gonna run afterwards. I've lost 0.5 on price dips already. I wish I had time to pay attention all week. But the thing is, the players that you have might score more points than the players that you brought in. So I wouldn't always look at the price rises, as sometimes they don't actually equal FPL points. Walker may not start. Yes, he might not start, and then we're going to be a little bit worried. But I'm just going to roll the dice and just hope that he does. That's the only thing that's a bit rough. Why Salah, not Haaland? So currently, I just don't know. I think I'd rather captain Salah this week. It's super close for me. If you want to go for Haaland, I do agree. I think it's a safer option. More people captain Haaland, but I'm worried about some rotation there. Keep Robertson or sell for Perisic or Dunk. I'd keep Robertson. I wouldn't do like-for-like switches with Robertson this week, unless you want to bring in a Diaz or something like that. Got Henry in 2 weeks ago. Worth sticking? I would just stick with him. If stick with him, play him over Andreas. Who do Brentford play? Yeah, I'd play him. It's a tough one though, because it's Brighton or Crystal Palace, and both of them have good defenses. But I'd probably just play Henry. Green arrows tonight, hopefully, but hopefully at the end of the game week we have a green arrow. Come Thursday night, if we're on a green arrow, I'll be happy. Captain Sterling is a differential, good or no? I don't think I'd go that far out. I think Sterling's looking strong, but I just think Southampton look pretty good against United. Final call, Haaland captain. So currently not for me, but 2 minutes to go. You guys can always change if you want to. James to Perisic. That looks like a good move, Dr. Joel. Like, if it's a 1 week punt, 100%. Anyone worth a hit for James? I don't think so this week, as long as you have a bench option that could kind of come off, Major Tom. That's what I would say. 2 minutes, lock in your team, says SH, 100%. Dunk in, says Champ Boy. Looks like a good transfer. James to Dunk or Estupinan. I would say Dunk. I'm going Jesus captain, says Danny. Good luck with that. What's your rank target this season? As it always is, top 10k. If we get another top 10k, it's 4 in the last 5 seasons. So that'll be pretty nice, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to have to do some work in these next couple game weeks. Which two to start from? Neto, Tony, and Mitrovic. On paper, I would say Neto and Tony, but I don't know how you can bench Mitrovic. Dunk in, says Champ Boy. James to Dunk or James to Perisic for more money in the bank. I would say Dunk. I would say go for Dunk this week. It's tough between those two, but I think you have to be prepared for Perisic to be a 1 week punt. If you want to do Perisic in this week and then Dunk next week, 100%, but yeah, I don't know. Delot in for James. They call me a madman. Giroud, are you a United fan? Because then that's probably why. Gundogan as captain. If you have Haaland, then maybe just go with him. But I like the punt though. But I think it might just be a big enough punt to just have him in your team. Sell Henry for Dunk, Sasha Stupanan. I would keep Henry this week, Mayo. And that's going to be the deadline. So as Will's saying, good luck, bro. Good luck to you too, brother. SH deadline passed. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday evening. Early, maybe Wednesday morning. Maybe some of you guys are early Wednesday morning, maybe early afternoon, wherever you guys are around the world. But thank you for joining me on this midweek. And that's actually going to be the deadline. So hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Hopefully I've helped you out a little bit. All I'm hoping for is that Walker starts and Cucurella starts, because at least then our bench won't be used this week. I think James is going to be benched anyway, not benched, kind of missing, so Pereira will come off the bench. And I just hope that Mo Salah bangs with the shirt, because that's going to be a good luck shirt. So as always, hopefully the green arrows in you guys' favor, but I'm going to sign off with Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.